94, and he mixes in the slider and the change.
Caden Pierce steps in, and he's first pitch swinging as well, so an aggressive approach from the Missouri hitters to start out this game.
Well, and they know that he throws strikes. And again, that's the attack. When you know that he's going to be around the zone early, you don't want to get deep and have him drop something nasty on you with 2 strikes, and that's pretty nasty for a different reason.
So runners at first and second base for the Tigers to begin this game after Pierre gets hit by a pitch, and that'll set it up for Keegan Knutson.
This hasn't been the problem for Missouri. They score about 7 runs a game. Their offense is good. It's just the walks and everything they do defensively that's hurt them. But this team can really go offensively. And now
they out.
Do the right things 60% of the time, that you have a real chance of winning. This is one of them. Nobody out, just lift the ball into the outfield. Clearly you'd want a base hit or a home run, but to get the job done by Nicoletto out of the 4 spot, just put in the outfield. You know, in the past they strike out, they hit weak ground balls, and they don't get that run home. And they do it there, and they're up by 2.
Chris Patterson, the third baseman, takes a look at the first pitch. Low for a ball, 1-0, the freshman out of Texas. Batting .233 on the year with the homer to his credit. Breaking ball catches the outer portion of the plate to even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, they got after Tyler Fay's fastball early. Now he started to figure out that he's got to mix in his off speed for strikes, land those pitches, and then that makes that 94-mile-an-hour fastball more effective.
1-1 with runners at first and second base.
Yeah, 2 balls haven't left the inches. Torres decides to glove it, probably cost him the out. But again, Missouri starting to get some breaks. They've probably been waiting for those for 18 games. Again, there's certain things and reasons why you struggle in baseball, but it's not set up to go 0-18, and that's where Missouri's at. So what you're seeing now is them starting to get paid back a little bit for all the tough luck that they've had. It just so happens that Hodo is up on the grass. The ball bounces right over his head. If he's in a normal position, then they make that play. They've had a bunt and then an infield single so far in the first. Everything going right for the Tigers.
And a meeting at the mound already here in the top of the first inning, still out. And it's interesting, you know, you see innings that last this deep in terms of the lineup. Normally the starting pitcher's throwing a lot of pitches. Fay's only thrown 9 pitches here early, Todd.
Well, again, that was the game plan, obviously, against what I mentioned at the start, is Fay can fill up the zone early. He loves getting strike 1, and the Tigers knew it, and they capitalized on it, starting with Jackson Lovich, who found a seeing eye single to lead this game off, and since then they've had a few of those.
Jadier Hernandez, the catcher, at the plate with 1 down, runners at first and second base. And the off speed, well off the mark, is Hernandez on the swing. The New Jersey native batting .143 on the year, trying to add to this 3-0 lead for Missouri. Strike 2.
And they may not see another fastball. You know, Tyler Fay thought he was settling in, you know, let's pump a few fastballs in there, see if we can get it by him, and they haven't. So now he's figured out that that slider to the right-handers on the outside corner works, and he's good at it. And I'd be shocked if they get
3 quick strikes to pick up out number 2. And you're right, Todd. I mean, no fastballs on that setup.
Well, Jadier waved at the first one that was out of the zone. Second one's borderline striker ball. He gets the call against him. And then right there, that was a nice pitch right on the outside black. Jadier doesn't like it. 3 in a row, and Fay's back on track.
Peyton Basler will try to keep the inning going. Another breaking ball connects for a called strike, 0-1. The junior Basler with runners at
And that wasn't necessarily supposed to be up and in. Look where the catcher set up outside, and Tyler Fay just pulls it and hits the 8 spot Basler. That was supposed to be a show pitch out and away to come back with the backdoor slider, and just didn't get there. Now bases loaded. Missouri has a real chance to break this open in the first.
And you wonder with their pitching struggles how important.
With a ball to the shortstop that just finds a right spot, gets through it. The bunt finds the perfect spot. Chris Lee in his 10th start of the year finds the hole on the right side, and everything going right for Missouri.
And Jackson Lovich, who started this game off, swings at the first pitch he sees again, and he wraps up business in an active first inning for the Missouri.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Justin LeBron, the shortstop, in his second year, 60 RBIs, tied for 4th in Division I. He and the second baseman, Garrett Staten, have turned the most double plays in the SEC. So defensively, he gets it done, and offensively, he is special.
Fowler fouls away the first pitch. Missouri is 11-7 this season when they score first. So this has been a little bit of a rarity for them to get out to this kind of start. As Fowler digs in and swings again at the next pitch, drifting out of play.
Yeah, Kellenbrink's usually out there when his team is chasing runs, so this is new for him. But again, I think it's huge that he gets spotted some runs, and for him to be able to throw his 3 or 4 pitches and feel good about, contact, pitching to contact, because a lot of times I think he can get away from that and around the zone, end up walking guys. But now, with a 5-run lead, you can just attack the zone.
Fowler swings at another pitch, drifting over towards foul territory, third base side, and it is caught by Chris Patterson for the first out of the inning.
I really like this third baseman, Chris Patterson. He's a freshman. And so Coach Carrick Jackson said, he'll do some freshman things sometimes, but he is a special kid and can really go get it at third base.
Season for Hodo, thanks to his 10th home run of the season, as Garrett Staten arrives to the plate. Is a foul ball.
Hard to tell. Off the bat, that's that one when you're at the plate and you hit it. It's fair when it passes third base, and then it just kind of curls on you. Like, that ball's fair, and then it just curls right to left and dies in foul territory. But that's the one that'll break your heart as a hitter, because you got it, and then it just tails away from you.
Gave it a pretty good ride. Nearly got it over the wall. 320 down the line, out and left, and right as well. Couple of hits for Staten against Samford. Can't catch up to that one. Fouled away.
This is the 7th outing in a row that Kellenbrink has given up a home run. And what you like about him is you just keep attacking the zone. I think there's been times, and not just him, there's a lot of young kids that get afraid of contact, and so they end up walking a bunch of guys because they're dancing around the zone. But the ability to give up a long ball and then just come right back in there and keep firing is what they've been preaching to Kellenbrink, and looks like he's paying attention.
And you talked about it a little while ago. I mean, they need it. They need some kind of length, if at all possible, out of their starters. Their rotation has been decimated by injury. Ian Losey, who is the opening day starter, he's out of the mix. Among those missing for this Missouri rotation, Staten pops this one in the air towards shallow right field. It will get down for a base hit. So Staten is a 2-out base runner with a single.
Pitch on the outside corner. Garrett Staten out of the 8 spot just holds back long enough to hit the end of the bat and put it where nobody is, right in that shallow right center field. And look at that level swing. I mean, that's nice. Didn't catch the barrel, got the end, and that's what got him the base hit. But they don't draw pictures. He's 1 for 1.
Coleman Mizell looks at the first offering wide for ball 1-0. Inside 2-0.
Remember I said at the beginning, Kellen Brink's better against the right-handed hitters than he is the left-handers. His ability to cut the ball in on the hands on the right-hander, I think he just likes the target better. Against the lefties, you know, he's missing inside, missing badly with the off speed.
2-0, hit sharply, but over to second base. And Basler able to make the throw in time. Will Hodo in first. Curveball hits. Count even at 1-1. Over to first. Good glove by Hodo. 1 down.
That ball was smoked.
Saturday, we have a baseball triple-header. Ranked Oklahoma at noon Eastern. Then, number 5 Arkansas takes on Florida, and we cap the day with number 9 Vanderbilt and number 23 Ole Miss at Swayze Field in Oxford. Things heating up in the SEC. A tremendous set of matchups getting going tonight, and then throughout the weekend. Of course, Texas against Texas A&M, a big part of the proceedings in SEC play this weekend as well. Garrett Goldbeck over to Justin LeBron. 2 down. Mentioned Georgia and Oklahoma. Oklahoma leading Georgia 2-1 in the 5th inning. That game in progress right now. Interesting weekend last weekend for Georgia as they try to bounce back. And dealing with an Oklahoma team that can be very tough.
Georgia in that high-powered offense. 105 home runs coming into this week. Tops in the SEC, tops in the nation. I mean, there's not a better home field advantage than the Georgia Bulldogs. 24-2 at home. They need to be a top 8 national seed to try to get back to Omaha.
Now that ballpark is such an extra advantage, and as many games as they can play in there, that would be a big advantage for them moving forward, as Hernandez still having a hard time at the plate. He struck out looking in his first visit. Down here 1-2.
Well, he's not recognizing that slider on the outside corner. His first strikeout were 3 in a row on the outside black, the sliders, and they're just not going to throw him anything else till he proves he can lay off of it.
Stays off there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out towards right field. And there to make the catch is Fowler. When we come back, we'll hear from the head coach of the Missouri Tigers, Kerrick Jackson. Stay tuned.
Kerrick, that's what I wanted to ask about Brady Kellenbrink. He's one of the guys that you said, you know, trial by fire. He told you he wanted to start, and it seems like he's one of the examples of a lot of players you have on this team that's getting a chance to pitch week in and week out, and looks like he's getting better every week.
He is. You know, it's a true freshman, and so again, the only true freshman that you usually see start in the SEC are the dudes that turn down millions of dollars in the draft, and so this is a guy that wasn't a draft guy, but a good high school pitcher, and we knew somebody that had some upside to him, and he's getting his chance now.
Coach Jackson, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, MIZ.
Fowler over to first. And Lovich steps on the bag at first base. You know, Coach Jackson has to feel pretty good. This is not a position his team has been in often in SEC play.
Well, he's having to teach these kids how to play baseball with an 0-18 conference record. You know, if you're having some success, then I think you have more of the attention, from the kids. But, for these guys who want to, get 5 hits in 1 at bat, they want to swing their way out of slumps and they want to do it all themselves. And you've got to preach to the entire group, like I think we saw in the first inning, a little bit of patience, a little bit of aggressiveness, but the ability to take your walks, the ability to take strikes that are borderline and wait for your pitch that's out over the plate. Understanding pitch sequences and all that's going on with the hitting at bat, and that's what he's trying to teach these kids, and it's slowly, you can start to slowly see it work.
Now 1-2 to Justin LeBron, and that's the thing. We talked about the pitching aspect of it for Missouri, but that can have an impact on their offense as far as them pressing potentially and having the struggles of the pitching put more pressure on that offense. But so far, so good for now for Missouri.
Well, because they're chasing 6 or 7 runs just about every game. And so as an offensive player, you think a walk's not going to do any good. I've got to hit a 5-run homer, and it's hard to teach, like I said, these kids to be patient and just keep the line moving.
That one from LeBron sneaks into center field for a base hit. So LeBron, a 1-out base runner as Cade Snell steps in.
338 as a freshman last year for Justin LeBron, and he just keeps it going this year, hitting 324 coming in to this series this weekend, and just uses the whole field, has pop with the 15 homers, but the numbers are pretty similar, through now, what is that, almost 100 baseball games. Justin LeBron is pretty consistent.
Snell fouls away the first pitch. Snell 0 for 1. Coming into the game, hitting well over 350, 368 at the moment. They try to keep LeBron in check over at first base. LeBron has 12 steals on the year. Snell ahead of that one, 0-2.
Good drop on that off speed there. Yeah, what you notice about Alabama's offense is when they steal, they make it. They make it. 44 out of 50 stolen bases for Alabama. That's about as good as it gets with that spinner blowing into a left-handed hitter. Justin LeBron's 12th, the identical base hit from Goldbeck back in the first inning for Missouri. That dirt in front of home plate is pretty hard, and so when it bounces, it gets up over the first baseman's head, who's holding the runner on, and into right field, first and third for Alabama with only 1 out, and through the heart of the lineup with Bonamolo, Neal, and Torres coming up.
And this is a big test for Kellen Brink. He walked in his last appearance. 0-1. 1-1.
He's trying to mix in that slider when that changeup is so effective. You don't usually throw the lefty on lefty changeup because as a left-handed hitter, you're really trying to see the ball and letting it travel, so it makes it a little less difficult for a left-handed hitter in this matchup. But he throws it so well, and especially coming off that pitch. So that changeup works right here, right after the fastball middle in. You just can't hang it. If you put it up in the air, it's a grand slam. But if he puts it low in the zone, he'll get a swing and miss.
The 1-2 missing high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded. LeBron over at third, Snell at second, Bonamolo
Neal, you see that high fastball, and you're telling yourself, I got to really see it, let it travel. And that pitch looked like the high fastball, and it just comes back in the zone and gets a swing and miss for the second out. That's a huge out for Kellenbrink.
Jason Torres will try to cash in on a big opportunity. Takes a look at a strike, 0-1.
And a lot of times when you get that second out on that high intensity at bat, you have a tendency to let down. And for Kellenbrink, he's got to just stay on top of it. Now he's got to head 0-2.
Xavier Lovett getting loose in the bullpen for Missouri. But an 0-2 count right now.
Well, the bunt's really the one you want to have back in the first. So I really like the way he threw the ball in the first. He just had some tough luck there, and we just got to do a better job of minimizing it. But man, he settled in a little bit, and hopefully he can keep rolling here. And we just got to keep setting up innings. We can set up innings. We'll keep punching this thing through.
Coach Vaughn, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
All right, boys. Appreciate it. Roll Tide.
You know, we talked to Rob on the phone, and he said Missouri's going to get somebody. They're not going 0-30 in the league. And the reason being is because baseball is just not set up that way. You're going to have seeing eye grounders. You're going to have things go your way. And it's amazing that Missouri has not had that to this point. But in the first inning, he's exactly right. That's what happened. About a few seeing eye grounders. The bunt, which was a perfect bunt. I mean, they were going to have to make a great play just to make that throw, and they didn't. And Missouri carried it too. But we're sitting 1,000 miles away. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it did bounce. What an effort. That can get by you quickly, and that turns a single into a triple. And Bonamolo, even though he didn't make that catch, he keeps it in front and limits that to first base.
Almost got to it. Instead, it's a one-out base runner for the Tigers. Jackson Lovich 1 for 2. And finally for Missouri, an opportunity to get a base runner back on. Fay has been mowing through the Missouri lineup as of late. He had retired. I mean, he battled, and certainly when you take a look at how that last inning concluded, that could be a pivotal point in this game, and Kellenbrink able to elude danger in the last frame.
You know, and you can't help but think part of the decision to pull him early is they've lost so many pitchers to injury. You can't afford to lose a guy like Kellenbrink for the rest of the season. You know, it's already been rough with the injuries. And he pitched well through 3 innings. Really impressive. And, again, like I mentioned before, I mean, you're seeing the maturity of this kid week in and week out. He's getting an opportunity to be out there every week when he wouldn't otherwise. And so this is a few players on this Missouri team that are developing quickly.
Fouled away, and it looks like Hodo got a piece of his leg. And he's trying to walk this off. That is painful.
That's why you see a lot of guys with all the gear. He does have it on his right elbow. A lot of times you'll see the shin guard as well, because that is the most painful thing you can have happen to you in baseball, other than probably getting hit with a pitch up in the head area, is you foul it off your shin straight down. And it usually comes from that right-handed slider with a left-handed hitter, and that's why a lot of movement from that sidearm action from Lovett. And you know, I don't really know what Hodo was looking for there, because it's up in the zone. He probably thought it was going to land below the knees, but you know,
Play drifting into the top of the 5th inning. Fay's first pitch, a called strike, 0-1.
And I like that. In the first inning, you saw Missouri just coming out of their shoes, swinging at the first pitch. Once you do that and you show Fay that that's what you're going to do, he's going to start going to the off speed. And now the second time through the lineup, or the third time, you're a little more patient and kind of see more pitches. But you keep going after early pitches, you can get yourself out.
Pierre hits it sharply, but right over to Staten. Easy play for the Crimson Tide to begin things in the top of the 5th.
You know, after
Keegan
that first
Knutson.
inning, about 80% fastballs, Derek. I mean, now I would bet it's flipped. Now it's about, from Fay, now it's about 80% sliders. There's a fastball.
91 miles per hour to Knutson, who reached via an error as a part of that 5-run first. He laid down that sac bunt that really caused a lot of problems for Alabama. Over towards LeBron, has to hurry. He does. 2 outs. Saturday, number 6 Florida and number 10 LSU start a big 3-game softball series. Game 1 coverage starts at 2 Eastern on ESPN2 and shifts to the SEC Network for Sunday's game, which begins at 6 Eastern. And Monday's series finale at 7 Eastern. Nicoletto looks at a called strike, 0-1. Of course, we talk about the strength of the SEC on the baseball side. Certainly not bad at all on the softball end of business. 1-1.
No, I mean, is Texas still the #1 team in the country in softball? And they're in baseball, #1.
Missouri.
Third by Fay. All of them have kind of been that slider down and in, and he just takes it off the foot or feet. 2 out. They've been kind of quiet, Missouri, after the first inning. They finally get another runner.
Really, after that wild first inning, Fay has been able to settle in. Deflected over to LeBron, steps on the bag at second base to close up shop for the Missouri offense in the top of the 5th inning. The latest D1Baseball.com Field of 64 projections, they're a part of the NCAA tournament field. A team that started out really hot this season. They were 22-1 to begin matters this year, and then once you get into SEC play, it is hard to sustain that kind of start.
Yeah, for Alabama, 16-0. That's a program record to start this season. But you typically see that in the SEC before the conference, schedule of this 10-week start. All these teams are 17-3, 18-2, 16-0, whatever. And then you find out who can really play when you go through this SEC schedule.
Two-1 to Fowler. Oh, and he got a piece of his leg on that one.
That we've already established that.
Innings.
Yeah, we've established that dirt is hard around the plate, and the home team does that on purpose for different reasons to kind of help the offense, whatever the case may be. And so that ball is not going to get any cushion off that dirt as it comes back up and hits him on the ankle. But he has what I was talking about, that shin guard that protects the left-handed hitter from the right-handed slider.
Two from Lovett. Missing wide. Full count. Todd, did you wear any shin guard protection to kind of try to offset those kind of things?
Yeah, again, after the first time I hit myself square in that right shin, I put it on. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't feel good at all. You got a knot the size of a tennis ball, after you do that. And so I learned the hard way that I needed it.
Fowler puts this one up in the air and left, and it is caught by Piccarelli for the first out.
But the elbow guards and all that just started to kind of come around. Barry Bonds, of course, was all armored up, but he got pitched inside a lot. And I was a left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower. So if I got hit, on that right elbow, which happened a few times, I'm out. I can't throw. So I had to wear something there to protect, my throwing arm.
LeBron swings at the first pitch out towards center field. Pierce slipped a little bit, but able to make the catch. 2 down.
Yeah, nice concentration. You lose your footing. A lot of times you can panic a little bit, but Pierre stayed with it. How about Missouri's pitching? 7 straight batters retired.
Well, their pitching coach knows a thing or two about pitching. Tim Jamison, the former head coach of Missouri, now with the Tigers as their pitching coach, led the team to 698 wins when he was head coach of Mizzou. Now helping out Kerrick Jackson as a pitching coach.
It's a cool dynamic. Kerrick Jackson coached under Tim Jamison, back in 2015, 2016, right at the shortstop.
And a quick close yet again to an inning by this pitching staff of Missouri. 5 pitches, a career high for him so far. He's really settled in after a tough first inning, Todd.
Well, and you heard Rob Vaughn talk about, he ran into a little bit of bad luck. The only thing he'd take back is the third hitter bunt, by Knutson that Bay picked up and threw it down the right field line. Other than that, a bunch of seeing eye grounders. Bay was doing his job, throwing strikes. Just some bad luck in the first inning.
1-1 to Garrett Goldbeck, who is 1 for 2 on the night with a single.
Cool story on Garrett Goldbeck. His dad is actually the head coach at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. That's where he played before he came to Missouri. Big time defender. Garrett Goldbeck grew up in a baseball family.
Shoots this one out towards center field, and right there is Richie Bonamolo Jr. with the catch. 1 out.
Makes it look kind of easy, doesn't he? Pretty nonchalant out there in center field. Knew he had it all the way. Almost made another spectacular catch a few innings ago, and wow. I mean, he needed every bit of that web.
I don't know if you could slide a credit card between the ball and the grass there. Jadier Hernandez, 0 for 2. Ahead here, though, 2-0.
They didn't like that call, and Neal going out there to give him a break. 61 pitches for Tyler Fay.
Action stirring in the Crimson Tide bullpen, and this is an interesting decision here if you're Rob Vaughn, because you're in uncharted territory really here with Tyler Fay. With 2 arms there going right now, you'd have to think the end might be near here for Tyler Fay.
Yeah, this might be his last hitter. If he loses him, he's probably out. Missouri's got 8-9-1 coming up. Peyton Basler, the 8-0, is the switch hitter, and then the lefty Piccarelli in the 9 spot.
There's a strike from Fay, who has retired 13 of the last 15 batters he's faced in this contest. Trying to make it 14 out of 16. But he's behind here 3-1.
Jadier has already proven he'll fish after that pitch if you throw it. Fay couldn't get it there.
So the first walk allowed by Fay, and that will lead to a visit from Jason Jackson in his 8th season, associate head coach with the Crimson Tide.
Remember, he took over as head coach, interim head coach, a few years ago when they lost their head coach, and did a fantastic job. I know the kids responded well to him.
The Crimson Tide, Todd.
Carves up right-handers, and that's why they wanted to move Basler, the switch hitter, over to the right side. 195 against, it's because he gets a 31% whiff on that changeup to the right-handed hitters. But left-handers, he throws the fastball about 80% of the time. So 70% with the fastball to the right-handers with the changeup, predominantly fastball to left. But he's been very good for Alabama this year.
You'll see Peyton Basler first with a runner on and 1 out.
tournament if we need it.
Basler 0 for 1. Takes a look there at a called strike. The line is not done on Tyler Fay entirely. He is responsible for Hernandez over at first base after the walk. Went 5 1/3 innings pitched. Gave up 5 hits. As Heiberger misses.
5 runs and 16 pitches in the first inning. I mean, that's a stat you won't see too much of, but he threw well, recovered well, held Missouri to 5. You know, what looked like Missouri was going to make this a fireworks show. He didn't give up anything after the first inning.
Quick throw, and Hernandez is able to get back. This is a Missouri team that can play small ball well, as we saw in the first inning. And there's strike 2. Basler goes down swinging for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's just showing you high heat above the waist. And the reason you get a lot of swings on that ball that's higher in the zone is because it's closer to your eyes, and so it looks so good. But if it's got any velocity behind it, it's tough to catch up to. And right there, especially when you got a little doubt that he might throw some sort of off speed and he pumps that fastball in there, you just don't want to miss it or take it for that matter, and you swing and miss.
0-1 to Brady Piccarelli. Hernandez still over at first base. Piccarelli with a couple of hits. He had a 2-run single back in the first. And that made it 5-0. Over to Torres at third. Easy does it. We're fresh off of a tremendous Masters as well.
Yeah, you play golf, Derek, up in New Jersey?
Not well.
And you don't call it playing golf. Yeah.
No, I'm far off of my dad, who is my dad's in his mid-70s and he's still cranking away. I have not achieved the kind of acclaim he has. He's winning tournaments and stuff at his age, and I am not.
Yeah, I mean, I turn it into a baseball game. Just try to hit the tee shot as far as I can hit it, you know. And I always said when I got older, I'd be a better golfer because I'd calm everything down, but hasn't happened yet.
0-2 to Bonamolo, just missing. So I'm a lefty, but I swing the club from the right side. So I think I may have erred there. But, oh, you did the same?
I threw right-handed, but I hit left-handed. But my granddad gave me clubs when I was young, you know, right-handed clubs, and so I just learned that way and felt like I could play golf while I was still playing baseball and it wouldn't mess with my swing. But yeah, I learned to play right-handed.
Inside to Bonamolo. Bonamolo, Neal, and Torres facing Lovett here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Fouled away.
This isn't tough at bat against these sinker slider guys because, and I wouldn't even call, you know, Lovett a sinker slider. He doesn't use a whole lot of sliders. It's just one pitch, come get it, you know, but it's got so much movement on it that even though you know it's coming, it's tough to make solid contact with it and usually catch the top half of the ball.
Hit foul, still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I mean, this is shaping up nicely for the moment for Missouri. They have not had to utilize a ton of resources pitching-wise so far.
By Garrett Staten. 3-run home run to right.
6th homer of the year for Staten. That's the 4th homer of the year allowed by Lovett. A pained expression on the face of Lovett after giving up A game-tying 3-run home run as Mizell looks at another pitch, 2-0.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Derek. What you're looking for on Friday night, the ace has all the stuff that you want, the velocity, but the main thing is it's length. And what they're looking for right here, Missouri is for length. And Lovett on his 38th pitch right now. And they're starting to get on him.
Another hit. 4 of the last 5 batters have reached base via hit. You have guys who would be relievers who are now starters, and that just has to make things a lot tougher to manage if you're Missouri.
Well, I really like Kerrick Jackson, and he's not making excuses. It just is what it is. If you lose your ace, that's going to be tough to navigate through the SEC. He lost his entire weekend rotation. And when you have that type of injury, especially the pitching staff, this is a product. This is what you do. You end up, leaving guys out there that you would probably pull otherwise if you had better options, because this is starting to become a laser show.
Fowler dumps that one into right field. Heading to third is Mizell. He is safe, and it's runners at first and third base with 2 down, and that will set it up for the RBI leader in the SEC, Justin LeBron.
Yeah, this is not who you want to see at the plate with a rally. Game's still tied. Missouri's not behind right now, and they only need the 1 out. But when you give up 5 hits in the last 6 hitters, including a home run, it starts to get a little discouraging. But, I think that was part of the meeting is, look, calm down. You got 2 outs. Focus on keeping the ball low. Let's get off the field with a tie game.
LeBron will try to give the Crimson Tide a lead for the first time here tonight. 1 for 3. Two and 0.
Yeah, even though Lovett's used to throwing about 80 pitches, it seems like he's tired, like he's laboring now with only the 42 pitches. And, the ball isn't sinking as much as it used to. He's keeping it up in the zone. That's a good
Gets that one by LeBron. 2-1.
That's a tough one to get by LeBron because 2-0. You're looking dead red and you feel pretty confident as a hitter. And to get fooled by swinging over the top of that one shows you that was a nice pitch.
3-1. Cade's on. Full count.
Perfect pitch. Now Hernandez is saying the runner's going on the pitch. No need to cover second base because sometimes in the middle of the field you can forget how many outs there are and what's happening, and you can go cover, leave a hole in the infield. Hernandez just reminding him. Tied at 5 after the home run and given up 5 of the last 6 hitters hits, and strikes LeBron out with 3 hitters counts, 2-0, 3-1, and 3-2, and all 3 strikes and got him.
Lovich, good play by Hodo. The flip to Heiberger in time for the first out. Good defense by the Crimson Tide.
Well, anytime you see that play, you're always just hoping that the pitcher reacts fast enough. As a pitcher, when you release the ball and it's hit to your left side, you've got to get to first base. Nice job by Matthew Heiberger to immediately take off, because if he doesn't, then Lovich is safe. And nice all around. Yeah, nice dive also at first base by Hodo.
Caden Peer takes a called strike. 0-1. Peer was hit by a pitch in his first appearance back in the first. He eventually scored. He's behind here 0-2. Not only is Missouri trying to end more in 5 straight games.
Nice little slider action, lefty on lefty matchup, moving away from Caden Peer. Missouri sent 10 hitters to the plate in the first inning, scored 5 runs, and since then they've had 3 innings of three up, 3 down, and they're looking at a 4th here in the 7th.
There's a strike to Keegan Knutson. Oh, that one.
Just a bit outside.
You almost have to feel like you have to do it this year. I mean, you know, anytime you think of see a pitch like that, you think of Bob Uecker.
100%. Yeah, just a bit outside. Tried the corner and missed.
2-1. This Missouri team averages 6 runs per game at 5 right now. And as Todd, you mentioned earlier, the 5 in the first inning, but since that time, they haven't really been able to put together significant threats.
Nothing. You've heard Kerry Jackson saying he hoped they could capitalize on that first inning, gain a little confidence and build on it. They just haven't. And you can give credit to Fay, who settled down, and then now Heiberger, who's doing well. But you know, when you score that many runs in the first inning, you know, you ought to feel pretty good about yourself and the fact that you're going to be able to have a good day offensively.
But 5 runs in the first, and only 3 base runners since that first inning for Missouri.
That was that hole at bat with Albert Bell. Remember when he got hit? He said, "I'm not going to first. I want to hit. I'm staying right here."
Second time on base for Knutson tonight. A defensive swing there by Nicoletto leads to a foul ball, 0-1. Nicoletto, a transfer. Oh, good.
No, I was just going to say, Kerry Jackson has to be thinking about, man, I got to get this guy in scoring position with 2 outs. It is the lefty-lefty matchup. He gets blown up, then you lead off with this guy. But Knutson has 3 bags, and you can reasonably assume that now at 1-1 that you're going to see an off-speed pitch here in the next couple pitches. And if you can guess right, you can get to second base. But you know, Missouri has not been in a position, you know, to be able to steal bases. They've been behind by so much, but this is a situation we might think about it.
That ball gets away, but Knutson has to stay put. There's a strike from Heiberger. 1-2 to the transfer from Columbia College.
And also why you've seen 3 fastballs in a row. So they've had 2 picks and 3 fastballs. So Alabama's anticipating that they might go try to steal. LeBron made it look like LeBron from the Lakers, just nonchalant, just make the tag, not even look.
Now it will be P.J. Green out of Tyrone, Georgia, on the mound for the Missouri Tigers.
Another young kid. I mean, we told you this Missouri Tigers group is young, and P.J. Green, in his 12th appearance, 16 walks is high, but he's got a fastball, 90 to 94 miles an hour. The sliders is out pitch, 43% whiff rate on that, and he can drop the change on you too. But right now, they just need strikes.
3, 4, and 5 for the Crimson Tide in the bottom of the 7th inning in a tie game. And there's a strike. 0-2. Green has 3 other brothers, including Glenn Green III, who is a pitcher at Memphis. He actually pitched for Carrick Jackson when Jackson was the head coach over at Memphis in 2023.
Well, and if you're wondering if Cade Snell is going to strike out, he doesn't. 6% of the time this guy swings and misses at strike 3 or takes it. He just does. He's one of the toughest to strike out in the league.
Fouls that one away. That breaking ball hung up in the air. That's a dangerous pitch against Cade Snell. And as you just said, Todd, hard to strike out, but you don't want to hang anything over the plate against him either. Another letter high pitch. This one coming in at 93 miles per hour, fouled away.
Yeah, he's getting some bites on that fastball high. If he can elevate it a little higher, maybe he can get it by him. But again, 6% is a big number. I mean, you know, as a hitter, if you're striking out 10% of your plate appearances, that's really strong. And Cade Snell down around 6%. That's why. I mean, you get a lot of swing and misses on that pitch. That was a great pitch from P.J. Green, and Cade Snell just spit on it. I mean, that's a strike 50 feet to the plate, and then the last 12 just drop, or last 10 just drops out of the zone.
7th pitch of the at-bat. Inside. Count runs full.
And now you got to pipe it down the middle. You don't want to walk him. 3-2 count. You just got to throw it and pray.
Hit in the air towards right field, near the track, but Nicoletto is there to make the catch, 1 out.
Pitch Cade Snell up in the zone. The whole at bat finally worked. Got under it just enough to get a fly out to right field for the first out.
That'll bring up Richie Bonamolo Jr. He is the lone Alabama player tonight without a hit.
Well, you know what that means.
Yeah.
Odds are in his favor.
There may have been some jinxing happening indirectly in the last inning. That, as we talked about, Missouri locking down things in the pitching department. It's been a different story. Alabama's offense coming alive when they get to 5 through 9 in the lineup. They've been very tough to deal with tonight.
Yeah, Justin LeBron and Cade Snell went back-to-back singles back in the 3rd, but nothing came of it. But Brady Neal on down, I mean, they've been impressive. Brady Neal scored twice, Torres once. Will Holdo in the 7th spot with a home run. And then Garrett Staten in the 8th spot with the other home run.
First pitch missing to Bonamolo. In total, the top 4 hitters for Alabama tonight, 3 for 14. And there's a strike, 1-1. One ball and 2 strikes to Richie Bonamolo. Brady Neal on deck.
I like what P.J. Green's doing here. Just attacking the zone with the fastball. He's not a huge strike thrower, only 58%. Usually you want that number to be around 70%, but tonight he's filling up the zone, and that's the right thing to do. If they're going to beat you, let them beat you, but don't beat yourself. I think that's been Missouri's problem most of the year.
Green set with a 1-2. Breaking ball over towards third, but foul. We talked about it earlier. One of the problems this Missouri team has run into is the games have gotten out of control thanks to the infamous crooked number innings that they've had to deal with throughout the course of the year.
Yeah, it's a direct relation to walks. I mean, Missouri's walked 216 batters coming into this game. No other team in the league has walked over 200. And back to what I was saying, you beat yourself by giving them walks, kicking the ball around. I mean, they're on their 5th shortstop. Knutsen's done a nice job since he's been there, but shows you kind of the puzzle pieces that Kerrick Jackson would have to put together.
Montemolo did not go. And that levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. In the air, drifting into the infield, and now making the catch is Basler for out 2. That ball started to tail and tail and tail closer towards the first base side of business, but 2 down.
When he first hit it, I thought it was out to center field, and that had a ton of spin. A lot of times you'll have that backspin on the baseball. It looks like it's going out into the outfield and then comes back across, and you got to keep your feet moving. Nice job by Basler, because if you stand still, the ball can get away from you.
Brady Neal steps in, swings through the first pitch. 0-1. This will be pitch 17 already in this inning for Green, despite not allowing a base runner. But he's able to get out of the 7th. 1, 2, 3 for Green and the Tiger. And another pitcher in the form of Hagan Banks, the righty out of Plainville, Georgia. And you take a look at his numbers so far, 13th appearance of the season. He'll try to hold this Missouri team at bay.
Yeah, Hagan Banks fastball. High 80s fastball, so not overpowering. He does have a curveball, and then, you know, he'll drop a changeup on you occasionally, but it's basically fastball at 80% and then the slider the other 20%, and a little bit of a sink away. He's a big, tall kid, so you think you're going to get an explosion with the fastball out of his hand, and so as a hitter, it makes you a little jumpy, but you got to stay back on this kid.
So Caden Nicoletto will step back into the box. Remember, he was up in the 7th, but Keegan Knutsen got thrown out at second base during Nicoletto's at bat. And Nicoletto is ahead here 3-0 on Banks. Missouri.
Yeah, and that's what you don't want. Tight game in the 8th inning, and this is what Missouri's usually done, is, you know, aren't able to throw strikes with the bullpen. Bullpen for Missouri has been fantastic tonight. And now it's Alabama's turn to have to throw strikes.
Patterson shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike.
I like that. Show it early if you're going to bunt. I'm not sure he will right here, but if he does, show it early. You don't have to trick everybody. The only difference would be for me is put that barrel a little bit of an angle, so if you do make contact, it doesn't go straight up in the air.
Next pitch missing wide for ball 1-1. Banks appeared in the win against Samford on Tuesday night. Struck out the side in his lone inning.
And I'm not a fan of bunting guys over to second base. You give the other team an out, and then you're expecting somebody to get a base hit. I don't mind the bunt from second to third with nobody out, because then all you have to do is put the ball in play. And right here, I love what Kerrick Jackson's doing. Let Chris Patterson hit. He's already had a base hit in this game.
Misses there, 2-1. And you take a look at the lineup. That's a 5-hole hitter showing bunt, at least to start out that situation. So very fair point there, Todd. I mean, you look at the situation that Missouri's in, trying to string some, and everybody's safe.
Well, you have a struggling pitcher, 2-1 count. You know a fastball's coming. Why not put the guy in motion? Nicoletto takes off. The only thing you can't do is put the ball in the air. Chris Patterson gets away with one there. The right fielder, Fowler, almost made that play. And they're actually lucky that Nicoletto didn't give up on it and try to go back to first base thinking he caught it. Nice job by Nicoletto to make sure that the ball was on the ground, gets over to second. Now Missouri's got something going in the top of the 8th, first and second, nobody out. And Goldbeck, who also already has a base hit in this game, coming up.
Carson Osmer getting loose in the bullpen. He's the SEC leader in saves heading into tonight.
Yeah, the transfer from Penn, 5th-year senior. Let's see if they go to him. Jason Jackson has been making the moves, and they'll go with Carson Osmer to close this thing out.
And runners at first and second base for Osmer to deal with in the top of the 8th inning. So they will go to their closer here in a hairy position for the Crimson Tide with runners on and nobody out.
Yeah, it's got some sink on that fastball that he throws, but he dominates right-handed hitters. I mean, only 5 hits off of him from right-handed hitters all group. Very, very talented.
Carson Osmer has his work cut out for him here. Runners at first and second base. Nobody out in the 8th in a tie game. Garrett Goldbeck takes a look at the first pitch, 1-0.
He does have Jadier Hernandez on deck, who struck out and hasn't looked great in this game. So if you bunt him over to second and third, you're dependent on Hernandez. But I think it's the right move. I don't mind the bunt over to third base to give him an out, because at that point I knew as a hitter it made it never easy, but it made the hitting a little less difficult with Gallant standing at third with less than 2 outs, because you just have to create a little launch angle with the bat, put it in the outfield.
Goldbeck pulls it back and looks at a strike.
They are crowding him on the infield. Both Hodo and Torres, third and first, on the grass. And up the middle, LeBron Staten squeezing the double play.
Bunt again, fouled away. So Goldbeck has run out of rope here in regards to a bunt with 2 strikes.
Well, and he kept the bat head flat. Let's see what happens. The ball flies up in the air, and now you're in a position where you really can't bunt. So they're just hoping right here that Goldbeck can just put it in place somewhere.
Fouled away. Big opportunity here for Garrett Goldbeck. He puts down the bunt. And Osmer's able to get Goldbeck at first base, but the runners advance over to second and third. So a gutsy decision there to bunt with 2 strikes, and it pays off.
That is huge. You don't ever see that work out. People square around with 2 strikes, usually foul it off or just take it completely, swing and miss, strike out. What a great bunt with 2 strikes. I'm surprised they didn't, catch the defense off guard right there, by the play. But nice job jumping off by Hagan Banks and making that, or Osmer, and making that first out. But moves the runners over. Missouri in a position to win this game.
So Goldbeck able to get the runners into scoring position at second and third base. And now Carrick Jackson out discussing matters with home plate umpire Joseph Smith.
Well, they might be putting another hitter in there.
Indeed,
Like I said,
it looks like we'll have a pinch hitter here. Cameron Benson will pinch hit in this spot.
does have 11 hits and 33 at bats. Only the 9 starts, 11 appearances, but he can swing the bat. He can handle the bat.
How do you play this defensively if you're Alabama, Todd?
Well, they're probably going to keep the infield in to try to cut that run off at home plate. Now they're going to move the infield back, the middle infield back. The corners are up.
Jadier Hernandez was the batter pinch hit for via Benson, and there's a look at what Alabama has set up now with the bases loaded and 1 out for Peyton Basler.
Yeah, so the corners will go home with the ball, and up the middle they'll try to turn the double play. You got third and first on the grass, and LeBron and Staten with this defense that leads the SEC in double plays are back waiting for that.
First pitch, off speed, low, 1-0. Isaiah Frost is over at first base now, pinch running for Cameron Benson. 1-0. Strike one.
And now as a hitter, you just have to keep the ball up. You know, you got to protect against that sinker ball down where you beat it in the ground and you give them a chance to get out of the inning with the double play. So if you're the hitter, you're trying to, it's hard to say uppercut, but you're trying to keep the ball in the air.
Ground ball over to Hodo, makes the throw in time to cut off the runner at home, so Nicoletto is retired for the out. 2 down.
Yeah, pretty easy hop for Hodo, just make an accurate throw at home plate. And you see the pitcher sliding to get out of the way of that throw, and they get the second out at home plate. Now they can back off a little bit. They got forces around the bags with 2 outs.
Brady Piccarelli, who has 2 hits, takes low for a ball, 1-0.
This is the pitch you like. Nowhere to put you, 1-0. You know he doesn't want to go 2-0, so he's going to throw that fastball in there, try to probably hit the outside corner. You can't be pull happy, but you know what you're getting. And he gets a slider. Nice pitch. And if you get something else, you just take it like that. Now you've seen it. He's seen the sinker, he's seen the slider.
Couple of RBIs for Piccarelli on the night. A chance to add more. But he swings through that next pitch. 1-2.
Tied up a little bit. That's pretty nice. That ball held its plane. Instead of sinking, it just stayed right there and kind of fooled Piccarelli.
The 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Piccarelli.
Now I'm guessing slider. This is the educated guess process. You've seen the fastballs. Osmer doesn't double up a lot, and so he shows you the fastball, and he's already landed that slider on the 1-0 pitch. Nice job by Osmer.
Missouri was batting .333 this season with the bases loaded until that last sequence as Torres takes on the first pitch from Green, who's back out for his second inning of action. Torres 1 for 3 with a single. There's a strike from Green. Two balls and one strike. By the way, Mateo Cerna is the new catcher for Missouri, replacing Jadier Hernandez, who was pinch hit for in the top of this inning. 3-1. Full count. Torres may have thought that was a bit off the mark, but instead a second strike and a full count pitch on the way.
Not what you want to see if you're Tim Jameson and Kerrick Jackson. A leadoff walk in the bottom of the 8th after an emotional inning offensively the time before. And again, we've talked about it all year long. You can talk about a lot of different stats, but you start giving away free passes and you're in trouble.
Well, no doubt about it. Missouri was not able to take advantage of the free pass they got to start the 8th inning. Let's see if Alabama can take advantage here in the bottom of the 8th with their leadoff walk. Another ball, this time to Will Hodo.
Well, and he's facing a guy that hit a home run back in the 2nd, so Will Hodo feeling pretty good about himself tonight.
(1-0) in the dirt, 2-0. And this has been a tough part of the lineup for Missouri to deal with. 5 through 9 tonight, 6 of 15, including a couple of home runs, 2 walks, and they've accounted for all 5 runs in this game for Alabama, as Garrett Staten, who was in the on-deck circle, had the big blow in this game for the Crimson Tide, a game-tying 3-run home run back in the 6th. 2-0. 3-0.
And this was walks will do for you. Not only putting the guys on base, but, you know, just a distraction. So now you got traffic on the bases. You got to worry about the runner. And P.J. Green was cruising along until he just walked that guy in the 8th, and now can't find the zone.
And there's a strike to Hodo. Skied in the air, drifting near the stands and out of play.
And now if you're Rob Vaughn, you put the runner in motion. You know, Will Hodo does have a strikeout in this game, but if you know that your hitter at the plate is not going to swing and miss, you stay out of the double play, send Torres.
Outs have not been easy to come by here for Green. He's had to expend some juice here
to keep P.J. Green out there.
So Green will have to deal with Garrett Staten, who has 2 hits, the single and the 3-run homer. Green looking back over at Torres at second, now ready to deal. Foul away, and an aggressive approach by Staten.
And Rob Vaughn showing a lot of confidence in his 8-hole hitter. This would be a situation you almost always bunt. Tie game in the 8th, bunt him over to third, less than 2 outs, and give it up. But right here, they get the double play ball. Nice move from Basler over to Knutson, and then the pick at first base. He might be safe.
That's close.
No, he's out. Out by that half step. And see how he stepped on. And huge stop with the go-ahead run at third base. Trying to block that ball and keep it in front. Pretty textbook right here. Turn the glove over and stay in front of it. Keep it low.
Cerna coming in to replace Jadier Hernandez. With a good defensive play there. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Torres over at third base, representing the go-ahead run. Green delivers a strike there. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you see the home plate umpire, Joseph Smith, leaning over the right shoulder of Cerna. He can see that pitch. The last 2 he's thrown better than he could if he was on the other shoulder. And first one barely missed. You usually get the call if he's on the other side, but there's another one. 3 in a row, right in that spot.
Alabama has labored tonight with runners in scoring position. Can Mizell get them ahead? Oh, another good snag there. And play made by Cerna.
Now that's just reaction. You don't teach that. Guy at third, winning run at third, let's go ahead and block it. But he picks it. The short hop with the glove over the top, man. Got away with one there. Up by 2. Heartbreak once again for Missouri.
The 5th homer of the year for Mizell as Green, you said it there, Todd. I mean, Green was almost out of that, but in the end, he gets got. There's a strike to Bryce Fowler. You look at the home runs tonight, 3 home runs for Alabama, courtesy of the 7-hole hitter Will Hodo, Garrett Staten in the 8th spot, and Mizell, who hits 9th. This one skied in the air, first base side, foul territory, and the catch is made by Lovich to conclude matters in the 8th. But Alabama grabs the lead for the first time tonight. They have been perfect, 21-0 this season, and they turn it over now to Osmer, who's back into the game for another inning of action.
Well, a big reason they're undefeated after 8 is this guy, Carson Osmer, who's been almost unhittable this year in his 22 appearances. And it's a little few and far between in college baseball to have a closer, somebody not only for the last 3, but 6 outs, maybe 9 outs. Carson Osmer is somebody that you want and need on your staff because he can eat up those late innings and be dominant at doing it.
And for Osmer, this will be a unique situation. If he's able to hold on here for Alabama, no save opportunity, he'll get the win. 0-2. Just missing. Out of the inning.
Yeah, that ball just kept going away from the barrel. I mean, Lovich, he missed that by a couple feet. I mean, that thing spun completely out of the zone, and the only way you get a swing like that is you don't recognize the spin right out of the hand. And you know, Jackson Lovich probably thought it was some sort of fastball in the outside corner and just kept tailing away.
Strike 1 to Caden Peer. By the way, Brennan Norton is in the game at second base for Alabama, replacing Garrett Staten. 0-1, missing low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. If you're just joining us, Missouri led this game 5-0 after one in search of their first SEC win this season. And Pierre puts this one into right field for a one-out base hit.
Nice swing by Caden Pierre. Gets the slider out over the plate, and compare that slider to the one that he just threw to Lovich. I mean, the one they threw to Lovich broke by 5 feet. That one didn't really break at all. Hangs in the zone. Caden Pierre gets the base hit to right. Now 3-4-5 for Missouri. They are down by 2, but if they're going to get it done, this is who they'd want at the plate.
And that slider able to be stopped by Brady Neal. Here's Keegan Knutson. 0 for 2. 2 home runs on the year. .88 miles per hour from Osmer. Osmer, not one of those guys that's going to throw 95 and up. Excellent placement with his pitches. 1-1. Stung, but foul.
And he thinks along with you. That's the whole game between the hitter and the pitcher. Whoever can outthink the other wins the battle, usually. And it's called an educated guess process, and Carson Osmer obviously is really good at thinking along with the hitter and know what they're looking for and throwing something else.
Osmer's only given up 3 home runs this
Independent. What is